Dear learner, now we will discuss the second topic under publication misconduct entitled Ethical Issues in Various Disciplines. So, academic research towards conducting the research activity is most important thing. Here some ethics, here some honesty are to be included so that we can produce the better literature, better publication and better research product output for the society. So, we have to maintain some ethical issues. So, there are whole universe of subjects, universe of knowledge also, and that can be divided into three main parts. One is the science and technology. Here a great thirst, a great amount of research is going on. So, here ethical issues to be followed with due care. In this issues, in this subject, must have to show they must have to show their regards to the interest of the humanity. They must have to undertake the total research process with due care and honesty. And UNESCO enforces some guidelines in relating to ethical issues in science and technology since 1970s. UNESCO published a report on ethical principles and guidelines for the protection of human subject of research, and this is known as Belmont report, which was published in 18th April 1979. This is most important report where we will get different ethics, and it proposed three basic principles for the evaluation of research project involving human as a subject, where respect to person and the beneficent and justice to be maintained. And then second part is coming, that ethical issues in humanities and social sciences. Here issues of ethics are very much neglected in the field of humanities. After 1990s, the researchers of this discipline are following research integrity. Humanities in the European Research Area Joint Research Program (ACRA) and pointed that ethical conduct of research in humanities was a matter of the conscience of the individual researcher. European Commission Guide Note for Researchers and Evaluators of Social Science and Humanities Research, they drafted it in 2020. And EU Code of Ethics for Social Economical Research, that is an important guideline. Guidelines for research ethics in social science, law and humanities is there. It is often divided values or principles related to research into three major facets. Number one, standards of scientific practice. Number two, responsibilities towards individuals and communities directly participating in research, and considerations of societal impacts of research. In these three aspects, the researcher must have to take care so that the ethics can be followed, otherwise the total research projects will be contaminated. Following values and principles are to be applied in humanistic research, that is avoiding harm to anybody, No work can be done in such a way that will hamper another interest. Another one interest. Confidentiality and anonymity are to be maintained. Whenever the research work will be conducted, every aspect, every data, everything, the identity, everything will be confidently maintained, so that no one can understand the matter, no one can oversee the matter. Third one is the human dignity should be preserved. That is most important. Whenever we take off a subject as a research entity, so therefore we must have to take care so that his interests, his opinion, his data are all to be maintained, and he is to be dignified person, so his dignity to be preserved, so that he cannot feel unworthy in this research topic. So these are the most important principles. If we follow these principles, that is avoiding harm to anybody, then confidentiality and anonymity to be maintained, and human dignity to be maintained and preserved for maintaining the ethical issues. Then ethical issues for professional study. Here we must have to follow ethical issues very sincerely, as because human beings are directly getting service for them. We are rendering our service for the society for their benefit and ultimate benefit of the mankind. So if we do not follow the ethics, then the total process will be contaminated, and the human mind, human values, human behavior, human nature will be disregarded. So therefore the human dignity cannot be maintained. So the first and foremost duty of the research scholar, that they will follow some research issues very sincerely, so that human beings are directly getting service from them with due sincerity, with due rigor. Some fundamental principles are to be followed to behave ethically. Respect to people's dignity and rights to be maintained. The process cannot be done so that the right of an individual can be hampered. So every right, as given in the fundamental right, all the fundamental right to be preserved. So respect to people's dignity and rights, responsible practice to be maintained, integrity in relationship is highly needed, responsibility to clientele is to be focused. So here we have to maintain some issues, so that the ethical function, ethical activities can be maintained. In that regard, University Grants Commission promotes some ideas and aware the research scholars to follow some ideas, so that the ethical function, ethical activities can be maintained. So ethics are the moral principles that govern person's behavior. The term research ethics refers to a wide variety of values, norms and institutional arrangement that help constitute and regulate the scientific activity. So therefore, research activity is an important codification that we have to maintain very sincerely. Scientific morality, humanistic attitude, socialistic behavior, everything should be properly maintained, properly done, and ethical issues to be preserved, so that as a researcher we can take pride that we are doing for the society. The whole society will respect us. So therefore it is our duty to maintain ethical concept. So ethics as a disposition, and ethics as a duty, and ethics as an utilitarian. So therefore our main duty to follow some guidelines properly, as and when all these ideas will be mentioned by a competent authority, and thereby we will follow all these ethical issues. The first and broadest objective is to protect human participants. That is important. Second objective, to ensure the research is conducted in such a way that it will serve the interest of the individual, it will serve the interest of the society, it will serve the interest of the subject, and it will serve the interest of the professions. So therefore, it is the first and foremost duty to examine the third objectives, that specific research activity and projects to be based upon ethical soundness, looking at issues such as the management of risks, protection of confidentiality, and the process of informed consent. Everything should be preserved for the continuation, for the maintenance of ethical issues in our research activity. Throughout the world, ethical committees have been created and they are prescribing different ideas. All these ideas are based on these points, that is the people's dignity and rights, responsibility practice are to be maintained, integrity in relationship is highly needed, and responsibility to clientele is to be focused. So based on these four ideas, different ethical committee have pointed some crucial points that we have to maintain. All the universities in India must be equipped with research ethics committee at the departmental level or faculty level. That is the first directive of the UGC. Then research protocols may be submitted to such committee so that in advance the things to be properly evaluated. Then committee may act as the mediator and advisor in respect of disputed cases. Some problems may arise and the committee will solve the matter. So this committee must be committed of high quality, transparent research activity and accountable research ethics throughout the India, within the research community. The committee also monitor the progress of research activity, ongoing research activity, and research protocols may be submitted. This committee will help to promote, not only to enacting some ethical points, it will help the researcher to promote their research activities, and they will aware the researchers so that they can understand the necessity, need and importance to maintain the ethical issues in our research activity. So at last we will say that as a researcher we have to follow the research ethical aspects, and we have to follow the research guidelines very carefully so that the expert, the institution, the research peer group, editors, publishers must have to take a joint effort so that all the community, all the community set persons can take ethical aspects and maintain ethical aspects in times of their research activity. The committee will also organize different awareness program so that the student community can learn, student community be aware about this research progress, research ethics for their future life. So, if any member of academic community suspect the appropriate proof that a case of plagiarism something happening, then it will be properly dissolved, it will be properly analyzed and the proper help to be given. Anyway, we have to follow the ethics, otherwise we will not survive, we will not give the actual benefit, the total fruit for the benefit of our society.